In 2013, James Howells, an engineer from Wales, accidentally threw away a hard drive. He didn't realize it contained 8,000 bitcoins, then worth almost nothing. Years later, that same piece of metal buried in a landfill would become one of the world's most expensive pieces of trash. James had started mining Bitcoin in 2009. Back then, Bitcoin wasn't a currency. It was a strange computer experiment discussed on obscure forums. With a few lines of code, he generated thousands of coins on an old laptop sitting in his bedroom. Mining was easy in those days. Few people cared about Bitcoin, and competition was almost zero. James mined thousands of coins in just 1 week. But as the value stayed under a few cents, he lost interest, shut down his computer, and moved on with his life. In 2010, during a cleanup, James dismantled his computer. He saved the hard drive, thinking it might be useful someday. That simple decision, to keep or discard a small piece of hardware, would later become one of the most costly mistakes in digital history. Years later, as Bitcoin's price began to rise, James suddenly remembered that old drive. He searched his house desperately, under boxes, behind furniture, everywhere. And then, the terrible realization hit him. The drive wasn't lost in the house. It was lost in the trash. Panic turned into obsession. He contacted the Newport City Council, begging for permission to search the landfill. He offered millions in return, explaining that the operation could be safe, clean, and beneficial for everyone. The answer was short: no. James didn't give up. He offered 25% of the Bitcoin's value to the city. He proposed a professional excavation using engineers, drones, and data recovery experts. But year after year, the council refused, fearing contamination and damage to the environment. The media loved the story. Headlines called him the man who threw away $200 million. James became both a joke and a legend, a symbol of early crypto madness, a reminder that fortune and disaster could hide inside the same drive. As time passed, Bitcoin's value soared. In 2017, when it reached $20,000, the lost drive's worth became unimaginable. James returned to the council again, and again they refused. Each bull run brought new hope and a deeper sense of torment. He decided to find investors to fund a new recovery attempt. Engineers, AI specialists, even environmental consultants joined his cause. They designed a plan to scan the landfill layer by layer, a digital treasure hunt beneath the earth. James's new plan sounded futuristic, using artificial intelligence, drones, and robotic arms to scan tons of waste without disturbing the ground. The cost? Over $11 million. He was confident investors would fund it. After all, the potential reward was almost $200 million. The plan gained media attention again. Some called it genius, others called it madness. But James believed technology could now achieve what was impossible in 2013. To him, the drive wasn't just money, it was proof that digital hope could still survive underground. Yet again, the council refused. Officials said excavation was too risky and the landfill's location too unstable. James called it bureaucratic madness. He had the money, the technology, the team, but no permission. The treasure would stay buried beneath the earth. Despite the setbacks, the public began to support him. Petitions appeared online. Crypto enthusiasts donated small amounts just to help his cause. To them, James was no longer a fool. He was a symbol of the human drive to reclaim lost digital value. But there was more to this story than money. James spoke of environmental responsibility, claiming his plan would clean parts of the landfill in the process. For him, it became a mission not just to recover Bitcoin, but to prove that innovation could fix old mistakes. Still, the legal barriers were endless. Permits, insurance, environmental tests, each took months. The longer he waited, the deeper the drive sank in, both the landfill and public memory. But James refused to let his story end there. He met investors from Switzerland and Germany, promising to fund new technologies. They proposed using machine learning to identify metallic patterns matching a hard drive's shape. It was the most advanced treasure hunt in human history, a mix of code, dirt, and stubborn belief. The project was ready. The city was not. Another rejection arrived. Too risky, they said again. To James, it was like reliving the same nightmare, watching opportunity decay under layers of bureaucracy and waste. Yet he never blamed anyone but himself. The lost drive became a legend. Tech magazines, podcasts, even late-night shows told his story. It turned into a modern myth, a lesson wrapped in irony. Some mocked him, others envied him, but everyone remembered the man who accidentally threw away $200 million. Today, the drive is still buried somewhere under Newport soil. It might never be found, but for James, the story isn't about money anymore. It's about resilience, proof that sometimes the real treasure is refusing to give up. As crypto evolved, his story aged like a parable. New investors came, lost money, and learned the same truth. Technology may multiply wealth, but it can't replace wisdom. James Howells became a cautionary tale, not just a meme. He still visits the landfill sometimes, standing quietly at the gates. No cameras, no headlines, just a man and the ghost of 8,000 digital coins sleeping beneath his feet. Hope, buried, but not gone. To some, he's a fool. To others, a visionary. But his story reveals a deeper truth: how digital wealth can vanish faster than it appears. It reminds us that behind every chart and coin, there's a human story, fragile, imperfect, and real. The legend of James Howells will live on, the man who lost millions and kept his hope. A reminder that the line between genius and mistake can be as thin as a file on a forgotten drive. If you want to explore the world of crypto, don't chase miracles. Educate yourself, because in this world, a simple click can change a life, but only knowledge can protect your future.